Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wessex Ways. In the studio today, we have myself, Kate Smith. We do not have Hedley Thorne, unfortunately, but we do have Paul Whitewick, the Wessex One.
Welcome to
Through the Wessex One.
So this is Wessex Ways.
Yeah.
We are Hedleyless.
Once again, yes, we are.
But this is a normal episode because
Yes.
we've had a treasure hunt special, we've had a Halloween special. This is back to Wessex Ways Classic Edition minus Hedley.
Yes,
The Hedleyless.
we are Hedleyless.
I do feel like we're I don't know, like what's the word I'm looking for? Like being a bit macabre here.
Yeah. Nothing has happened to Hedley, just in case you're all wondering. He's just simply at work. So we realised that we hadn't been able to have an opportunity to get together and record for you guys for a while. And we missed it. We missed each other's company. We miss you, Hedley. But
Here we
looking
are.
forward to being back in the studio, all three of us, as soon as we can.
Absolutely. So let's crack on with Wessex Ways, episode Who Knows What, Who Cares?
Yes.
This is a podcast where we talk about anything Wessex related and often not Wessex related, often history, landscape, increasingly scary level amount of trains.
I am absolutely determined.
I'm looking at you.
I know you are. And that's absolutely fine. I'm absolutely determined not to turn this into a railway history podcast.
But it's all good. It's all good.
But railways are such an important part of our landscapes that actually sometimes they become really, really relevant. So
That's
there
how
we
I
go.
started my YouTube channel.
I know,
frankly.
that's how I found you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
So we can't
'Cause
knock the railways.
Who doesn't love a bit of railway history? Quite a few people, to be honest with you. Every time we make a railway video, there's people going, "What are you doing this for?
Yeah, totally.
Bring back the canals."
Yeah, but I get a lot of that. But then that's that. But I love that. I've got quite a lot to talk about. In a minute, we're going to talk about something super cool, which we did. Me and you.
Me, you, and Rebecca.
Me, you, and Rebecca.
Yeah,
we did something
yeah.
super cool. We'll come to that any second now.
Yeah.
But you're right, totally right. So my YouTube channel has turned into lots of different history that I like, and it's like 1 week Mesolithic, next week Canal history, week after Saxon history, week after I don't know Iron Age. But that's the whole point. So I get a lot of people moan now when I do this or that or this, but that's fine because I kind of think I want to have that variation. I don't want to carry on just doing Iron Age.
I find your content interesting.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That sounded so condescending to say that.
I find it interesting.
I find the broadness of your content interesting.
Yeah.
But what I find really funny is, like you say, you started with industrial history. So you've got your railways and your canals.
Yes.
100 years ago, 200 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And then at the other end, you've got everything from like the Mesolithic through to probably sort of Saxon Viking.
Yeah.
Well, you're missing 1,000 years, Paul.
Right, no,
right?
literally.
You
that
are
was where I was
literally
going next.
missing 1,000
Yeah.
years.
Totally.
What do you want to? Does it interest you?
No.
Fair.
But no. But you're right. You're totally right. So if you've seen my Instagram on occasion, I keep putting out. I need content creators that specialise in the era from 800 CE or AD, whatever you take your fancy, up to 1700. I am literally what you just said is perfect because you said I'm missing 1,000 years. I am literally missing 1,000, maybe 1,100 years. I need like late Saxon into early sort of Norman.
Yeah.
1066, arrow to your eye, up to 1700. I know nothing. Kings and queens to me are like this black hole of knowledge I know nothing about.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are interested in that period, please come and help us find Paul's missing millennium.
Yeah, literally. I love this. This is great.
Paul's
this is a little
missing
shout out.
millennium.
I need to do this because I'm kind of reaching out to content creators that specialise in that era.
Yep.
Whatever I've just said, 1,000 to 1,700 CE or AD, and they haven't got a big audience, but they want to put a video on my channel or work with me and put stuff on the channel that is really engaging, a really good story, really good narrative, whether they want to narrate, whether I want to narrate, whatever. Any audience where they're a content creator and I can sort of push a book they're doing or push their channel or anything at all, I do, right?
Yeah.
Because that would build my repertoire and then maybe help them too.
And join those dots together.
Yeah.
For where that little bit of,
Totally.
that I say a little bit, but because, some of your stuff goes back 10,000 years in other, but I find it such an interesting period of history because it's the only place when you look at history where we as a society in Britain went backwards.
Yeah, that's it. I've had this conversation before. Not on here. This is a great conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. With a couple of friends
Yeah.
about after
After the Romans.
Yeah, can you say that? You almost certainly can.
Yeah.
It got very messy and got the power vacuum was there.
Yeah.
From whatever 410 or 420 or whatever era, a date you want to say. There's a power vacuum, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden people are saying, "Oh, who was the first king of England? Who was the first king of Wessex? Was it Cerdic? Was it whoever?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's there's still speculation to be had.
Looking at the bottom end of that period that you are missing, you're missing millennium.
Yeah.
So here's a question for you. All right. Londinium
Yeah.
in 250 CE
Yeah.
had a population of around 25,000 people.
Okay.
The city itself at that time was set on two hills in what is now the city of London.
Yep.
So more to the
So you're
east.
250, so we're very Roman still.
So in Roman,
Yeah.
the Roman city
Yeah.
of Londinium
Yeah.
had a population of around 2,500. That didn't
25, 2000, you said 20.
No, sorry, 25,000.
yes.
25,000. And that didn't include people living on the South Bank because
Right.
there was also obviously a bridge
Yeah.
at that point. If you go from the end of the Roman conquest in Britain, in whenever that was, I can't remember, 400-ish? When you were saying about the power vacuum around
date is
400.
410.
410,
But
okay.
the speculation might be a little bit after, but
Okay,
whatever, yeah.
so if you go from then to around 300 to 400 years later,
Yeah.
700, 800,
Yeah.
around 700 CE, what do you think the population of London was?
Oh. Well, I would have said higher, but you're going to say lower. Am I right?
I'm not telling you. Have a
Okay.
guess and then I'll tell you after
Well,
that.
if you said it is 25,000 in then,
Yeah.
I guess you just assume it would. I would assume it would be, again, not educated guess. I'd assume it would be 100,000. I don't even know why I'm even saying that, but whatever.
So,
That's my guess.
as I say, 25,000
Yeah.
during the Roman city of Londinium.
Yeah.
That obviously varied because Londinium was there for nearly 400
Yeah, we're talking
years.
400 years. Yeah.
So it got bigger. It got it grew over time exponentially. By around 700 AD, there was a population of between 25 and 100 people.
Oh right. Okay. I was going to
About
say
1,000.
You're going to
No.
say 8,000, right? Okay.
Yeah, there was about a population
So
of
London was kind of like abandoned to a degree.
completely abandoned.
I didn't know
So
that.
for many years, the Roman ruins of the city just sort of sat there.
Yeah.
Not all of it was necessarily even cleared away because building styles didn't need to recycle those stones because they built with wood and straw and built very different. They
back
built
to
more
wood,
like
yeah.
long houses and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So they were, and this is what I mean. They went backwards, right?
Yeah.
But there wasn't a city of London like there had been in Roman times. That bit was abandoned,
Yeah.
and there was a place that was around where Westminster is now that was basically a trading post, and that's all it was, called Londonvik,
Yeah.
which effectively was like 2 or 3 families rising to maybe 10.
Yeah.
Over time it became more popular, but that was it. The population of London decreased about 1,000-fold if you want to deal in big dramatic numbers,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I like. I'm sure somebody out there is going to tell me that those numbers are off and not necessarily accurate. But
it's
yeah,
a fascinating point that a lot of these places, I mean, like Silchester was a very big Roman place and then just completely abandoned.
Yeah.
Within like 100 years, I think, of the Romans leaving. But again, a lot of people talk about the era when we change the era, like we go, well, the Iron Age ended in 43 AD and we have the Romans. Well, how easy is that for you to say that it ended on that day when the Romans took over? Well, it didn't clearly, because we still use the same technologies and we still probably had the same farmsteads all around the country.
because we didn't have communication, so it's not like let's talk about something like decimalisation. Everyone in the country knew when decimalisation happened because we had communication by that point to say, on this day, this is changing to this. You didn't have that when the Iron Age finished. No one got a newspaper to tell them.
This is the end of the... Did you ever see that Mitchell and Webb sketch? When they went from Stone Age to Bronze Age?
I think I did,
I've only ever seen it once, and it's just the funniest clip ever, where they're just going... I'm not going to try and use lines from it. It was the funniest thing when they were just like, "No, your stones are finished, mate. That's it.
Yep,
Your
stones are done, mate.
gone.
Stones are
We've got
done.
this bronze stuff now." Look. It's just like that.
Absolutely
And that for me, like, I love that because that really is like this little caricature of how we kind of perceive, Stone Age to Bronze Age to Iron Age to Roman, blah blah blah. And it's like, it don't work like that, does it?
No. But
Probably not.
You touched on something a minute ago that I find really interesting. This isn't Wessexy, but it could be because I don't know. I'm sure you'll know if there are any in this area. I have an absolute fascination with settlements that disappear.
Yeah. Well, you love Silchester.
Yes, because
But on
Silchester,
different scales.
yeah, like you say, and that obviously is in Wessex, isn't it? There was a place on the east coast.
Oh, up north.
Up north.
Yeah.
Up north, where I'm from. And because I always like to sprinkle a bit of Yorkshire into every single episode. So here we go.
Aye.
We're sprinkling some Yorkshire. Kate sprinkles Yorkshire. So there was a place on the East Coast that the East Coast does an unusual thing on the coast around East Yorkshire.
Yeah.
It sort of juts out a little bit towards Bridlington and Flamborough Head, and then it curves back in. And then when it gets down to the bottom where the estuary of the Humber is, it curls around itself quite significantly. And the actual end tip kind of comes back in nearly 10 miles.
Yeah.
And so that bit there used to be the bit that sort of curled in was very sheltered. And there was an entire whole town called, with the fantastic name.
What's it called? Oh, can't remember.
Ravenspur Odd.
Do you know, I was going to say Ravenglass, but no, that's in Blooming Lake District. Raven.
Yes.
I was nearly there, right? Raven.
You were.
Ravens, what's right?
Ravenspur.
Oh, Ravenspur.
So the spur was the bit that came off the edge. Ravenspur Odd.
Did they not build like even the sewage for it and everything got built for it?
Yeah, the whole thing. There was a whole town that was there until I think about the 1300s maybe. Then there was a big storm and most of it got blown away.
Oh, right.
The shipping. And it's always that thing of something physical caused something man-made to disappear, right?
Yeah.
The shipping canal got silted up. So obviously they were by the sea. That their thing was shipping, and they began to realise that actually Hull, where the Humber met the river Hull, came together, was a much more sensible place to have a port. And so the city of Kingston upon Hull, as it became in the 1600s, prospered enormously, and Ravenspur Odd, which had been bigger before that, just disappeared. Yeah.
I do love doing those kind of stories.
Love a disappearing place.
Yeah.
Love a disappearing
because it's quite
place.
easily clickable and it's always interesting.
Yeah. And I keep saying it to you repeatedly, but there's a place I want to take you in the Yorkshire Wolds, sprinkling in some Yorkshire, called Warren Percy, which was the most fantastically preserved medieval village that has been empty now for 200 years, and it's got a gorgeous ruined church and stuff like that. Cool. It's in the middle of a hidden wold in a valley, and not really very very few people know it's there. But there's part of me doesn't want to take you there because Mr. Popular over here with his fancy ass YouTube channel. Yeah. If you go there, people will start going, and it's my secret. What you're saying,
yeah, there's a lot of those kind of accounts in there like that on Instagram. UK's hidden treasures.
Yes.
And it's like the quietest parts are now being overrun by tourists. Like, well, that's you, mate. You're doing it.
Things like the fairy pools in Skye and stuff like that that have really been affected by
I never want to do. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I never kind of want to do that. Really.
Yeah,
I do appreciate that.
You will now because you are popular. So there you go. Well done. Have I?
Rebecca bought some rabbits today.
Did she get some rabbits?
Right, 3 rabbits. And the person, she sent me a text message from the person. He said, "Oh yeah, okay, you can get it from any time from 5 o'clock." And then he sent a message and he said, "I'm going to swear. Hope you don't mind my swearing." He said, "Wait, fuck. Are you married to someone called Paul?" And she went, "Yes." He went, "Oh my God, I've been watching his YouTube channel for years." Yeah, there you go. Well, that's an interjection of fun.
No, but I think that's led us to a fairly magnificent segue.
Yeah, like it. Isn't that one of those things you get on 2 wheels?
No, that's oh, sorry, folks. Paul and I had a conversation at 7 o'clock this morning where I said the word Segway. He then asked me if it was one of those bikes that you lean on using gravity, and I said no, that's a Segway spelt properly. And then he asked me if that's when you have a sandwich that they make in front of you that you can choose your toppings on.
Ticker and cheese.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to tell you something now that's going to make you no longer like the world famous Mr. Paul Whitewick. Paul, when he gets a Subway sandwich, gets chicken tikka And cheese.
I can't see it. Cheese goes with anything. Do you know, right? Do you know Martin Zero?
No.
YouTuber, big YouTuber in Manchester, right?
Oh,
He's
okay,
got like
cool.
100,000 subscribers.
All right.
He mocked me for having egg and cheese.
No, egg and cheese is wrong.
No, it's not.
Unless it's like a
Cheese
fried
goes with
egg and
anything.
cheese. No.
No, just egg, and I just said, can I have cheese with it? She went, yeah, sure.
What, like egg mayo and cheese?
Egg mayo with grated cheese.
I can't believe I've driven all the way down here to make this podcast with you now.
Cheese? I've got a theory. I've also got a theory about custard creams. And custard. Cheese goes
I have a story about
anything,
Yeah.
anything savoury, surely.
And some sweet things as well. Sprinkling in some Yorkshire. We have Wensleydale
Does it?
with apple pie. Or Wensleydale with fruitcake.
Really? That's weird.
Oh, yeah.
You shouldn't mix your sweet and savoury, though, surely.
On certain occasions. Anyway, tell me your theory about custard creams and then I'm going to tell you a story.
Custard goes with anything. Sweet.
What, anything sweet?
Yeah, anything.
Okay.
That's it, really.
Is that-
and why not stick some custard creams in your custard?
So many years ago when I was a student, I lived with my friend Mel. Hi, Mel. And Mel had a partner at the time who was sort of living with us a little bit. So we'd get him to do the odd thing here and there. And Mel was hosting Christmas. And Christmas Eve rolls round. I'd gone to work. She was getting the food ready for Christmas Day. And so she sent out the boyfriend to get some provisions. She gave him a long list and he came back with everything on the list except for custard and creams. And cream, because we needed them for the Christmas pudding, and instead he brought back 3 packs of biscuits because he'd read the 2 words together.
You can't blame him.
I'm not going to lie.
That's fine.
Christmas Day, we got that Christmas pudding. We set it on fire. We crinkled on the biscuits.
Yeah.
It was marvellous.
Oh, but
It
yeah,
really didn't make
absolutely. You
any
can't blame
difference. But yeah, he'd read the list together. Bless him. So
Segue.
moving back to segueing back to
Segue.
segues. And you talking about people knowing who you are on a text message with rabbits.
Oh, yes.
I've discovered something, folks. Going on a day out with Paul and Rebecca means that lots of people are going to randomly come up and congratulate Paul on his channel. And we took to counting it because
We did count.
Paul, Rebecca and I went on an absolutely fabulous day out. Paul, tell them more.
We did. We went out on the trains, didn't we, basically? We went on, but not modern trains. We've been talking about doing a gala for a long time. Specifically a diesel gala, because I like my diesels. You like your diesels.
I do. Yeah.
And we said, right, we're getting late in the season. Is that the right phrase?
Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah,
Getting late in the train heritage season. So we thought, well, hang on, let's scout around and see what's left. And we found one. You found one. I didn't find it. You found it.
Well, thank you, ChatGPT, actually. But on the one weekend that we could make, that we were lucky enough that there was not just a diesel gala, but a beautiful, small heritage railway, which had 2 whopping great engines turning up for its diesel gala.
I just realised sorry to interject again. You're not going to say it, are you? For the people not watching on YouTube, I've just sat more comfortable. I've got a sciatica at the moment on my back, so I've just sat a bit more
I've
comfortable.
got sciatica as well.
Have you? It's right.
Yeah, matching
pain in the
sciatica.
bum. And
Literally.
I've literally just got a bit more comfortable and slightly put my legs ajar and realised I have a hole in my jeans, which me and Kate have already discussed. So I'm going to kind of just politely put my
You didn't need to bring it up again.
I know, but I've just realised I
you were
sat like this. And I'm like, well,
But I was looking at your face.
I know you were. Look up here.
My eyes are here.
So anyway,
where
were we? Trains.
Diesel galas.
Diesel guys. You found, ChatGPT found.
Yes. This
where was it?
superb. It was the Dean Forest Railway.
Yeah.
So about half an hour drive from Gloucester.
Yeah.
Kind of nestled in the Forest of Dean. Not a long line, 4 or 5 miles max?
Yeah, but yeah. And now, cutting briefly, we did loads of the early every disused station that we used to do around the railways and tunnels in the Forest of Dean.
Yes,
and that was
loads.
one of the few that led into the Forest of Dean. Colford, I think it ends. So yeah, probably about 4 or 5 miles, right?
Yeah, but it was just so scenic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely. It was scenic. It was just they had some old like shunters, 08s and all that.
Yeah.
I think one broke down.
Yeah, there was something going on, wasn't there, with the shunters?
Yeah.
But they had one of Paul's favourite trains, the
Yeah,
Class
literally.
50.
Class 50. Oh, I love my Class 50.
You do love a Class 50, don't you?
Yeah.
And one of the all-time iconic diesel trains of the British Rail era, which is the Class 55 Deltic.
I assume, and again, a bit naive in this, I assume they died a death before I was kind of like born, because I never saw one working. I saw a lot of diesels, right? We used to travel all over the country to train spot, literally. But I never saw a Class 55. Is it 55?
Yeah,
Deltic?
55s are a Deltic.
Never saw one, so why not?
So, okay, I think there's a couple of reasons for that. So the Deltics were fairly exclusively East Coast mainline.
Oh.
So if you'd not headed to
So
the
they might have been
ECML,
around.
yes. I think they ran them to about 82. Again, I'm sure there's someone in the comments that will,
Yeah,
that will give us
barely.
that. So yeah, I think they ran them to about 82 because they were
Right.
replaced by the 125s
Does the
on
East
that
Coast
line.
main line go through Tring?
No. That's
What's
the West
Tring?
Coast main line.
Oh, is it actually?
Yeah, so that's the West
So
Coast main
that
line.
literally heads over that to the west.
Yeah.
I never knew
So
that.
there's kind of obviously the nearest point where the East and West Coast mainline meet is in central London, where
Yeah.
they're less than a mile apart at Euston and King's Cross.
Right. So
but-
where's the first place you go if you're on the East Coast main line? Where are you heading for big towns?
Stevenage, where I live.
Oh, there you
Yes.
go. So you are the East Coast main line.
Well,
Right,
yeah, I
cool,
mean,
sure.
funny enough, that's one of the reasons that we, many millions of years ago, when I moved down from Yorkshire, one of the big reasons for choosing living in that area was the fact that I could jump on a train at Stevenage to head home
Yeah.
before I drove, because I was still at uni in Sheffield. So I could
So,
actually
had
do
you
that.
been round 82?
Yeah,
in
I'd have been
Stevenage?
jumping on a Deltic. Yeah.
So yeah, no, we never did. The furthest we went that direction is probably Tring.
Oh, okay,
And we
so you'd
see
have
all
been
the
on the
Class
West Coast.
86s and that going up and down.
Yeah, so the big difference was the West Coast main line was electrified much earlier than the
Yes,
East
hence why
Coast.
I always
So
used to see
you'd get the
electric as a kid.
86s, eventually you'd have...
85 and something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
that would have been... I mean, the 86 is actually gorgeous. There's one floating around at the moment
Yeah,
in
there is.
Swallow livery. Really pretty.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. So they're still running
Well,
in small amounts.
there was...
They do double headers.
Yeah, they often do.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of years ago, there were a few free diagrams out of Euston up to Piccadilly, Manchester Piccadilly. And somebody who had a vintage train company just randomly chose to start running the 86s.
Oh, fair play.
I think it was only on a Friday. And, you know, I'm fairly certain there are videos out there if anyone wants to go and revisit that. They looked so cool.
Yeah.
They looked really cool. I never got a chance to do it. I would have done that,
that's
even if
cool.
it meant going to Manchester.
Well, that's answered my question.
What's that? Have I
Of
ever
why
been
we
to
did,
Manchester?
no. Why we didn't? Sorry, why we didn't?
Yeah, they weren't. They
I never
weren't
saw
on the
any
lines that you'd
55s.
have gone to. Yeah,
But I pretty much saw everything else that I can think of. It was a diesel in its early days.
and even in the same way, if you'd have been someone who lived on towards that way and did like the East Anglia main line and the East Coast main line, you wouldn't have seen things like the. You wouldn't see many 50s for a start because they tended to be like southeast.
Yes.
You wouldn't have
Oh, yeah, I
seen
see what you're saying.
many.
Yeah. That's why I saw
you know,
them all.
there's I can't remember the classification numbers now, but there are. There's a train called Western Champion. Cannot remember the classification of it.
Oh,
but
the
they
Westerns.
were, so the Western
Yeah,
class.
they were
all this way. They were all stabled at Swindon, Didcot.
But they're like
So
51s or something like that.
I honestly I can't
I know
remember.
what you
off the
mean,
top
like
of my
very
head.
rounded.
Yeah, very, very pointy, roundy sorts
Yeah.
of fronts. And like the first time I ever got to see one of those was at the Greatest Gathering because I've never seen one before because they just didn't run in that area.
And I also think they died a death very early.
They had bad engines, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, because again, that's one of the others I never saw. Even though we used to like go to Dawlish every year. And we used to all we used to see was like 47s because everyone saw 47s and HSTs.
So you can
and 50s.
still go down there and see a 47 every day now if you want.
A 47, really?
Yeah, or is it's either a 47 or a 57 these days. I think it might be a 57 because they're the modernised 47s.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the body
but
snatchers.
the Night Riviera, the sleeper train, still runs with a 57.
Which is, it's a 47, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, of course
Yeah.
you can.
So if you wanted to go and see one at Dawlish, you could, but it'd be dark.
But I used to hate them as a kid.
Did you?
Yeah, because they were like the 66 of today.
Yeah, they
It's
were
like,
everywhere.
that's all they were, 47.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah.
like, oh, God, 47 again. I used to like the different quirky ones, the smaller ones sometimes, like the little 25s and 31s and 33s.
I tell you what came past my house the other day. I didn't see them, but I heard them, and so I started looking at what they were. Was two Class 20s, the flat front, really noisy
wow.
buggers.
Yeah.
Sorry for swearing, folks. They were hauling something that's part of Eurotunnel, and they were headed somewhere. And I was just sort of, for context, folks, I've just got over COVID and I've been really, really exhausted. So I was having a little daytime nap, and I know I'm a grown woman who loves a nap. What can we do? And I just suddenly woke up we live about 100 yards from the East Coast Main Line, and I just suddenly woke up to this belting noise, and combination of routine plus being a massive train nerd means I generally can tell what's going past my house until it's something different.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what
So
the
flip
heck's
onto real
that?
train times.
Yeah, onto Real Time Trains is
Real Time
such a
Trains,
great website. Onto Real Time Trains, look it up, find the head code, Google it. Yeah, pair of Class 20s. I just wish I'd had time to belt to the window and have a nosy.
Yeah. Cool. So, going back to where we were.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I've segued into trains again.
So we did
Always
do a lot
do.
on trains then. We made part of a film.
We
That the best thing to
did.
say?
Yeah,
so
we
the film,
did. We
the
did
film-
my bits, didn't we?
I mean, I don't know if the film's going to be out or not. It might have been out already, so people may have seen it, they may not. I'm not
Yeah.
going to say yes or no. But how not to build a railway, or how to build a railway, but whatever. How not to build a railway.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was kind of like the desire to go, right, here's an old abandoned railway that still has its tracks, still is checked by Network Rail with the old yellow trains that go up and down.
Yes, the test trains. Not test trains.
What track testing?
Yeah, are they called test trains? They
No,
might be.
I don't know. Maybe not. Either way, Network Rail still are responsible for the line.
Yeah.
It's used once in a blue moon by the MOD.
Yes.
So my theory is, well, hang on a minute. At the end of that line, which is a very small branch, used to be much bigger, very small branch, connects two towns with populations of like 20,000 people, and they've got a railway, but they don't use it. So this should be the biggest, easy, no-brainer win in the world. So, and I thought, okay, well, if they're not willing to open it as a bona fide railway, what about Heritage Line? And that's where we go with your segue into what we did.
Talking a little bit about the human history of heritage railways, where they came from,
Yeah.
why the Heritage Railway movement started, where it is now, and the people who work there and the people who run it. Is basically what I did, wasn't it?
Yeah. And that's a big part of it. And I think this is going to be such a cool video. I have no idea what it looks like right now because it's also got Jeff Marshall in talking about, and we basically talked about with Jeff current options on how to build a railway in terms of like, right, what have you got in terms of green stuff? Battery, hydrogen,
yes,
all those sort of options. And Jeff like went through what he's seen, what he's experienced in different places.
That'll be a really cool addition to it. Yeah, without doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I've got a local councillor who I'm speaking to tomorrow who's well keen and wants to push it. So here we go.
Imagine the movement we could create with it.
Yeah.
Something for good.
Isn't it?
And it's funny because you say about it connecting two towns that have populations of 20,000. One of the things that that I did on the day that we went to the Heritage Gala was I used the Heritage train as my first step to get home.
Yeah.
Which proves that Heritage Railways could potentially have use in commuting as well.
Don't they do that in Kent with the Romney Hive and Dymchurch?
Yeah, they do. People who live at the bottom end. Yeah,
and that's a narrow gauge, right?
Absolutely. I mean, imagine going to. I think it's school kids maybe go to school
Something
on
like that. Yeah, you can buy a ticket.
I
right?
know that definitely. I know they're not heritage trains, but I remember seeing plenty of footage of kids on the Isle of Wight getting on the train and going on when it was like the old Class 38 stock, and it was just such a juxtaposition of all these kids sat on mobile phones looking at their phones on a train that was older than their great grandparents. But I actually used that heritage line to get home because we were halfway down it at that point. Yeah. I was able to get off
That's going to go in the video for sure.
Yes, absolutely. I was able to get off it at the end at Lydney and get onto the train at Lydney Lydney Junction, which is the
main station,
mainline railway. I think it might just be called Lydney. Get my train from there to Gloucester, and then my train from Gloucester back up to Paddington. Don't get me wrong, it took a long while, but that's because I was trying to get to Paddington.
But these are the stories I love, right? Because I remember when my first child was born 18 years ago.
Yes.
And I remember like Sleepless Nights, that sort of era.
Yeah.
And I remember reading some early books on abandoned railways in the area. Mm-hmm. Totally different life for me back then. But I remember reading these stories of these people that this woman got a train from one side of London to Waterloo. Then she got on a train at Waterloo and she got off at Andover. Then she went from Andover, got a train on this line I'm talking about, which would ultimately take you to Cirencester and Gloucester, but she got off at Ludgershall, which is the place I'm talking about. She then got off at Ludgershall and changed at Ludgershall and got on the branch that went to Tidworth, which is only 2 miles, but it was a branch, and it was like the army branch. It was actually the busiest station on this railway, despite the fact it was a branch.
Oh, yeah.
Because every army soldier in the world got on board ticket to Tidworth. So this woman got 1, 2, 3, like you did the other day, 3 or 4 stops. But that's what you did because that was the only transport of time. And this was like, I don't know, 1904 or whatever.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like
absolutely.
your only real transport, unless you had a bit of money, was get on the train.
Yes.
And I love reading those little stories about how people made those journeys because that's just what they did.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, I need to get from that side of London to Tidworth. Train.
And that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays, people's automatic default is to obviously go by car.
Yeah, 100%.
And so, for example, for that weekend,
yes,
we
could have dropped you in Gloucester.
You could have done, but you'd have had to drive into the centre of Gloucester.
Good point. Yeah.
And the reason that I was on the train, obviously my natural default, and it's sad that it is this, my natural default is I'll take the car. As it happened, we were a car short that weekend. My partner's car had broken down. He was at home with the kids, so he far more needed the car than I did. And it never even occurred to me that actually to get from my house in Stevenage to Gloucester only took, I think it was 2.5 hours by train.
Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Which is pretty much the same. In fact, it probably would have taken me even longer to drive on a Friday evening through the rush hour traffic.
Yeah. And you got to concentrate, and
I'd have arrived tired.
Yeah.
I would have, I'd have been a little bit frazzled. I'm knowing my history, I would have probably shouted at strangers on the motorway. But instead, I was able to arrive calmly, happily. You and Rebecca picked me up from the station, and it's such a shame that we've kind of gone back to this psyche default of everything being by car.
Yeah.
When actually travelling by train is such a big adventure. And we need more of those lines like the one you're talking about because people can use those to go.
They would, yeah, because everybody drives from those big, they're not villages, but they're big towns.
Yeah.
Because one of them is very army-fied.
Yeah.
So there's loads of new houses going up. Ludgershall is the same next to it. And everyone drives in on one road into Andover and they park at the station, they get on the train. If you go to Andover station at 5:30, 6 in the morning, literally that time of the morning, get the first train, the station is rammed.
Yeah.
Like rammed to London.
Because people need to be in London for 8:30, 9 o'clock. So
8:30, 9.
Yeah.
And it's rammed. And if you imagine you could get on a little shuttle train, literally from the centre of Ludgershall, pops into platform 3, which doesn't even cross onto the main line.
So
if you don't want to.
signalling-wise, it wouldn't be an issue.
Signalling-wise, there's no issue.
Yeah.
You could, if you wanted to, go onto the main line because there's obviously a thing, if you wanted to, and you could do that as a complete run. There's options, is my point.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are we not doing this?
Yes.
But yeah, so that's what we kind of did a video on, didn't we?
So it's got some different angles on it, this video. I think it's going to be quite an epic tale.
Do you know what? It's going to be over 20 minutes, which is rare for me.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
But that's fine. I kind of like, it needs to be, right?
Yeah.
So I'm quite excited to put it
No,
together.
I'm excited for that one. And we just, it all stemmed from an idea where we wanted to go and play trains.
Basically, it was all right. What can we do? Hang on a minute, I got an idea. Well, no, I don't even know if I was my
We can stick a video
idea.
in this, can't we? But gosh, didn't we have a fun time? It was a lovely day the three of us had.
Yeah, but we went up to the top and then we got off and we did one stop, I think, and we got off and we explored a bit and then we got back on.
We kind of went down and up and I remember some breakfast in the rain. And you did get recognised many a time.
Oh God, I can't remember what we got to. We got to double figures, didn't we?
Oh yes, yeah, without a doubt.
Which is lovely. I never tire of that.
It was so, obviously as your friend, it made me so proud to hear people telling you those things. It was really cool.
Fun.
I liked it.
Anyone that ever, I'm not famous because it's niche.
Are you liminally famous?
Liminally famous, but I never will tire of someone saying, "Oh, hey, Paul, I love your channel." And I'm like, "Hey," I'd never retire of that.
No, of course, because you've worked blooming hard to get to it.
It's fun, isn't it?
We
should probably stop talking about trains.
Oh.
I know, I agree with you, but Headley's going to be raging right now.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be
Headley's
furious.
He'll probably listen to this in his car. Hi, Headley. In your car, listen to this on your way to work or
I was
wherever.
going to say probably headed up the M4.
And he's going to be like, I don't know, he's going to be raging like, what are they talking about? They're talking about trains, go on. Landscape,
go on.
what have we got?
Tell me some more.
I don't know. Oh, I've got a whole load of notes and things. Did a really cool video the other day. Let's talk about canals.
Tell me canal things, Paul.
Should we talk about canals?
Canal things. They've got trains in them.
Wow. Yeah. Because, I mean, yeah, you could broadly say, why do we no longer have a lot of canals?
It's trains, yeah. But
Trains.
So you did a video about like lack of canals, right?
I triggered a lot of people because I titled it, Why Are There No Canals in the South? And I drew a line saying the south of England is the M4.
Okay.
So that annoyed a few people. Or annoyed is the wrong word. So I drew a line along the M4 saying this is the south of England. We've only got the Kent and Avon Canal. And everybody raged and said, oh, yeah, you forgot about the Basin. And then they all named all these abandoned canals that, were like 5 miles long. And that's fine. And I kind of knew that was going to happen. So it's all good. But anyway, so yeah, I visited, as I've done a few times before, the Wilts and Berks. Mm-hmm. I love the Wilts and Berks in Wantage specifically.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's like a 10-mile stretch, right? Like 5 or 6 miles either side. And it's like abandoned, but not like filled in, forgotten. You can like go within 300 yards of the town and you can find abandoned locks that are still there and they've still got the brick and they've got trees growing out of the bricks. And it's just this beautiful abandoned landscape. And you don't get much of that down here. You kind of got to go up north to like industrial town to see the proper
the
kind of...
north and the Midlands and everything
all
else,
that.
yeah.
But Wantage with the Wilts and Berks is a wonderful place because there's and like if you go like to this place called Ardington, which is like you got to cross over the railway, the GWR main line.
Oh, okay, yeah.
To get to it, it's like in the absolute arse end of nowhere. But you follow the line of the canal and you've got to walk on this pathway. I reckon it's like 4 miles from I don't know, that's an exaggeration. 2 miles from the nearest road, but it's like this ridiculous walk to get to Ardington Locks.
Okay, yeah.
And you've literally got to cross the railway on a foot crossing. Excuse me. So
wow.
You've got 140 mile an hour, whatever they're called, 801s or whatever they are, going up and down.
125, but yeah.
125. They do 140 though, don't they?
They're not allowed to, but they can.
Really?
Yeah. The maximum train speed in the UK, with the exception of HS1 at the moment, is 125 miles an hour. You're not allowed to let a train go faster than that.
I thought it was 140. Why is that then?
No.
Anyway, that's fast enough.
Yeah.
It's not though, is it? We should be going faster these days.
We're not going to do that now. We've
stop
moved on
talking
from trains.
Stop talking
back
trains.
to canals. Yeah.
So I crossed the thing that we're not going to mention on foot. Scary because you got to like really pay attention because I'm thinking
absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, really
absolutely terrifying.
Anyway, so back end of nowhere, and you find this place called the Ardington Locks, and it's such a cool landscape because you've got the abandoned canal. You got to really dig in the trees to see it, but then all of a sudden you get all this magnificent old locks, and the lock gates are still there.
Really?
Like falling apart, like don't go near them.
So it's an abandoned canal. This is not an active
totally
canal.
They're trying to restore it, but it's 51 miles, so it ain't going to be done in my lifetime.
No.
But the point is, at this place called Ardington, they've got 2 or 3 locks where you can still see the old locks that have been abandoned since 1910.
Oh, long time then.
110-year-old lock gates that are decrepit and like falling. You don't want to go near it because crikey, that's going to fall. There's even a bit where the trees have grown out of the side of it, and there's like 4 bricks balancing in between themselves and the branch. It's such cool. And there's an old building. You can still go in it, and that was a lockkeeper's cottage, and it's so cool. And I thought, I'm going to go and walk around there again because it's really cool and tell the story of what really happened. Why it's all well and good to see trains took over canals, but then why are there still so many canals in the Midlands? Why are there still quite a few canals in Manchester, Liverpool, Leeds? Yeah. We've literally got one at the moment in the south of England. Yeah, okay, the Basingstoke Canal's still there, but it doesn't even reach Basingstoke, for goodness sake. It just ends in the arse end of nowhere because a tunnel collapsed.
Oh, okay.
And they thought, well, we can't fix that, so we just can have the Basingstoke Canal, which ends in the middle of nowhere.
So with that, you're going to have to do some social history.
Well, I've done
because,
it, so it's too late.
Yeah. But when you're talking about the ones in why there are so many in the Midlands and why they're, in the north that still existed.
Yeah.
What you're looking at there is social history.
Yeah, I should have got Kate involved with this, shouldn't I?
don't know. She talks a lot of nonsense sometimes, I think.
And you had COVID, so you've been out of action.
And to be fair, I have been pretty debilitated for almost 3 weeks with a fairly nasty bout of COVID. Pro tip for the world, if you're listening, if you think you might have COVID, please don't use out-of-date COVID tests. Turns out
really?
that they don't work.
Is that not just like I assume that was just like go buy some more?
Yeah, no, it's genuine.
Don't work.
They literally do not pick up the current strain of COVID that's going around. They're leading to, I mean, it might be the strain, it might be the test, I don't know. Either way, I did a test that told me I was negative, bought some real tests, and there's some tests that were in date, and found out that I had been positive for quite a few days at that point. So yeah, please, folks. Here's your nurse telling you some information.
I wonder if I had to guess, I guess it was a strain then.
It could be.
Shouldn't go out of date, should it? Because it's a science.
They dry up. So the little liquid that they use inside them dries up.
To be clear, I don't know what I'm talking about, so I don't want to be giving medical advice.
That's okay. But yeah, as always, consult a proper medical professional. Don't just go on the word of me, and especially do not go on the word of Paul Whitewick.
Anyone from the Wessex Ways team.
Moving back to where we were before. Yes, as I say, I've been fairly debilitated with COVID for a few weeks, so I wasn't able to do this. But if you're going to do that stuff around why there are still so many up north, you've got to be looking at why they couldn't be replaced by railways. It's simply what you're looking at.
That's my point. That was kind of my point, right?
And you've got several things. Landscape, geology. You've got the goods that were being carried.
Yeah.
And money.
Yeah.
Are probably your three things that would be have an effect on why that stayed that way.
Yeah. But there was one new canal. New Canal is in Yorkshire, don't know where. New Canal in Yorkshire was built in 1907. Still building canals in 1907. We've had railways for 50 plus years.
Yeah. But it must have been whatever they were carrying needed to be by canal.
And I think like short little distances, everything connected. And my point is, I guess in the south, we had the Kent and Avon, which carried okay-ish coal from the Somerset coalfield to London. And that was it. Bit of agriculture going the other way.
I forgot that the Somerset coalfields ever existed.
They did, but apparently it wasn't very good coal, or wasn't as good as coal from further north than the M4.
Well, UK railways railways in general, so therefore the UK being the first railways in the world, and then moving on from there. Sorry, I'm talking railways again. Only exist because of coal.
Yeah, I can imagine. We'd took a long time to get around. Yeah, they
coal
did.
Coal was the reason for so much industrial change. Within the 1800s. An enormous amount of industrial change was as a result of coal.
Yeah.
And this is why I love social history, because one aspect can change a huge amount of anything else in life. At any point that you look through history, and in any location that you look at it, one tiny thing can change everything.
I think, arguably, obviously, the first use of rails was by the Mines Royale German miners somewhere up in your neck of the woods, not Stevenage, but much further north, your other neck of the woods. And it was 1506 or something like that.
So one of the first ones that's ever been discovered, or one of the first that was documented anyway, was actually in Cheshunt in Hertfordshire, along the side of the River Lee. And actually, I think it may have been that it connected to the canal, because I think there's the Lee navigation.
I read about that.
So there was something there.
That was one of the first ones. I reckon that was like you're right, late 1600s.
Even where the Stockton and Darlington was, the Shildon the mines that it started from were already using rails for different things. Yeah. They were also using steam engines to raise and lower things. Yeah, of course, it was a case of just joining those things together that made it so cool.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
I felt like a big film one day, like I'm talking like a 45-minute documentary on extremely early railways. Just like not clicky title like the current YouTube that you have to really do, but a proper long form 45-minute documentary on early railways. And I go to Mines Royale, I go to Newcastle and do all those early route, tramways, Stevenson, Trevor Fickland, whatever. Yeah, and there's a lot of it, and where I know you do love a bit of industrial history, and industrial architecture, and there's so much of it related to that. But imagine like taking a week off work, or a week off whatever, going right, I'm going to make this film and do a week film, because you could do it in a week, right?
Oh, easy, easy,
So I'll go to like South Wales and do a Trevor Vick run that he did with 10 miles.
Yes, Richard Trevor Vick.
Yeah. But you piece it all together.
Yeah.
Love that.
No, that
Should do
sounds fun. That
But
sounds
you
fun.
got to stop talking about trains, Kate.
I'm not talking
I'm
about
blaming you.
trains.
We are, aren't we?
We aren't.
Are we not? I am.
No. And, you're going to get in yet more trouble here.
Headley's now beeping at random people on his steering wheel.
He did lock us in the studio and not let us out
For Halloween
until
special.
on the Halloween special. So
Yeah.
thank you ever so much for listening, folks. I've been Kate Smith. This has been Paul Whitewick, and this has not been Headley Thorne.